We're the whites. Nobody ever cares if bad things happen to us anymore.
And I want to understand white rage, and I'm white.
Can a nigga live? Can a nigga live? Please.
Everybody must eat! Everybody must eat! Everybody must eat! Everybody must eat! Yes!
Yes, I own.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are gathered here today to talk about a problem festering in America's shores. Let's get those likes up, y'all. Let's get those ones up. The audio clear. Mic check, mic check. We got to talk about the angry white man today, y'all. It's about time. About time we had another one of those conversations about what you think America is, where you stand with the evil colonizing white man. White man say he want his shit back. Tired of you niggas chanting land back. Two can play this land back game. That land back shit sounds really good until the white man starts saying it. I don't know if she thought this one all the way through. Team White is on the rise, y'all. Team White is on the move. They have begun to notice that maybe it's time. I don't know who put out the memo. I've just been keeping an eye from afar, and I'm noticing a storm brewing, storm clouds gathering and whatnot. So we are here to talk about the anger of the white man today. You know, kind of reminds me of that Boondock skit where he was like, you know, I had to ask myself, what the hell could he do to make these white people so mad? What did these niggas do? What did these niggas do to make this white man so goddamn upset?
What exactly did white people ever do?
What did we do for white people to hate us so much?
Like, I'm genuinely asking, what did we ever do to deserve anti-blackness in every single community?
And it's crazy when you think about it, because low key, I mean, I hate to like break the magic for a lot of you niggas who feel like hated and accosted at every turn. You know, you think the world hates you because you're black. You think white people hate you because you're black, and I just don't think that's the case anymore. I think they kind of like us. They really, really do like, despite all of their better judgment, despite everything their fathers told them to, they kind of like us, bro.
What did we used to do growing up? We used to smoke hookah and then go to fields with people we hardly knew, and we would get very drunk and sing songs like this. Mac, I'm going in. A millionaire, I'm a young money millionaire, tougher than Nigerian hair. My criteria compared to your career just isn't fair. I'm a venereal disease, like a menstrual bleed through the pencil and leak on the sheet of the tablet in my mind. Cause I don't write shit, cause I ain't got time. Cause my seconds, minutes, hours go to the almighty dollar and the almighty power of that chopper. Sister, brother, son, daughter, father, motherfucker, copper. Got the Maserati dancing on that bridge. Pussy poppin', tell the coppers, ha 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 ha, you can't catch them, you can stop them. I go by them goon rules. If you can't beat them, then you mop them. You can't stand them, then you drop them. You can't stand them, then you drop. We pop them cause we pop them like oval red and vodka. I'm ill. And then we would black out in these fields and call our parents.
I think they kind of like us, bro. I know. Every now and then, the white folk, they be, black fatigue, and you Negroes are so violent and uncontrolled. I know. There's that too. There's stories of redlining and gentrification. I've heard all the things, but I gotta tell you, I've been here my whole life. I've grown up shoulder to shoulder, cheek to jowl with the blacks and the whites. And I gotta tell you, generally speaking, the white folk don't actually hate you, bro. I mean, and you niggas been trying. You niggas have been trying your best to be the most hated. And God bless their little saltine Caucasian cracker hearts. They just haven't gotten there yet. They just haven't. But they're gonna. They are trying to gather steam and momentum, because this isn't all on the black, so I'm not gonna make this a purely black thing. But the noticers are noticing, and it's hard not to notice once you start noticing the things that everybody notices, y'all. #noticing. I'm gonna put my own music on this one. I don't trust their ominous, allegedly copyrighted music. We're gonna jam out to this one. Hold on. We got the perfect song. No, not that one. What did you niggas do? Why is the white man all of a sudden so aggravated? Why he so aggy? Why does white man be acting like he got a problem all the time, bro? What is going on with this white man? I think you're getting the point. Now, most of that is just like media, you know, articles and whatnot written by people in the media. And we all know how the media do. We all know how the media do. But it's not just like the quote media. You know, every day, almost every day, I hear a new white conspiracy theory from you niggas. Every day. It's like you just sit around the campfire or that flaming trash can that niggas used to have back in the day, and you just sit around the flaming trash can coming up with theories and conspiracy theories about the white man.
You want to do a thought experiment? I'll give you one. They think that they're superior. With no evidence to support the claim besides what they make up, they think that they're better, when in fact, there's more evidence to prove the contrary.
What's your point?
They're delusional. They're delusional, man. It should be added to the DSM as a mental illness. Everybody that displays that behavior should be labeled as mentally defective and then put on some list. Aren't people tired of this already, man? We've been fighting this thing for too long. We've been arguing against it for too long, but you can't argue with delusion. We keep saying that it exists. They keep treating it like it's some aberration, but that's
Yes. Black people want white supremacy to be reclassified as a mental delusion. Black people want white supremacy. Really, that's too big of a word. Black people want racism to be classified as a mental illness so that we can put you people in institutions where you really belong.
You want to do a thought experiment? I'll give you one. They think that they're superior. With no evidence to support the claim besides what they make up, they think that they're better, when in fact, there's more evidence to prove the contrary.
What's your point?
They're delusional. They're delusional, man. It should be added to the DSM as a mental illness. Everybody that displays that behavior should be labeled as mentally defective and then put on some list. Aren't people tired of this already, man? We've been fighting this thing for too long. We've been arguing against it for too long, but you can't argue with delusion. We keep saying that it exists. They keep treating it like it's some aberration, but that's cool. That's cool. Put your money where your mouth is. If it's so abnormal, label it as a mental insanity.
Come on now, mental insanity is a bit of a stretch, don't you think?
So we're going to ignore the incessant need that they seem to have to repeatedly destroy and steal everything that we do, everything that we build, everything that we develop, everything that we make? They tear it down, we build it back up again. They create laws to prevent us from succeeding, we succeed anyway. Like, they keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. What does that sound like?
Yeah, that sounds like insanity.
I rest my case. No, man, you're not hearing me. You're not listening. The pathology is already there. Imagine hating somebody so much that you create an entire country centered around their oppression and subsequent exclusion from every facet of society. That's a toxic obsession with criminally, sociopathic, and psychopathic manifestations. These crackers are crazy.
Come on, man, don't say crackers.
It's fine, bro. I got 2 white friends. I got a pass. You can't argue with delusion, bro. They're all delusional. We don't have to do anything to prove that.
But they've tried this before.
I know. That's why I said you can't argue with delusion. The APA literally said that for the behavior to be considered a mental illness, it has to deviate from normal behavior, basically approving and admitting that it already exists, but then saying that because it's everywhere, it can't be crazy anywhere.
Doesn't that go against the argument that it doesn't exist?
And doesn't that prove my point that they're all delusional? Hold on a minute, man. Say what you said again.
If the APA is delusional for not recognizing the delusion of white supremacy, then we will never get it added to the DSM.
You know what? You're right. It's on site, bro. There ain't no other way to solve this. It's on site from now on.
But we can't jump to violence.
Jump? I ain't start none of this. We didn't start none of this. Whole generation's gone because of that trigger finger, bro. They sick. And now you telling me they about to sneeze with their finger on the trigger, and you want me to do what? Hand them a tissue?
He said generations are gone because white supremacy is like a mental illness.
I think that we need to start calling racism for what it is. It is a disability. You are mentally disabled. Because to me, racism...
Hey, white people, if racism is a mental disability, shouldn't you get a check for dropping a hard R? Shouldn't the Burger King guy be on a government disability payroll right now? He should get $2,500 a month because he dropped a hard R in public.
Makes no sense. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Whenever somebody is racist, I just have to sit and look at them like, are you okay? Is something wrong with you? Something is wrong with them. It's a disability. Fuck. I think that
it's a disability. See, look, God of the Sea. This is why you come here. This is why you hang out over here. I'm going to learn you some shit about your whiteness, bro. If you are racist, you are mentally disabled. Therefore, you should be applying to get some type of government assistance. I mean, only the government can help you with your racism, right? It's like poverty. Only the government can help. I think you should turn to the government to help you with your racism. I can't fix you, bro. I've been trying for like 3-4 years now. I don't have the solution to fix you for your racism. I mean, to fix your racism for you, rather. But Uncle Sam, trust in the government, y'all. Trust in the government. Speaking of the government, let's take a look at the Mexican government real quick, just for shits and giggles. Hey, white man, this is going to be your country soon. You keep this up. They tell us that our future in America is South Africa, but what if it's more like Mexico with a lot more black people? You see me in the background? You can't really see my face, but I'm there. I bet you're wondering how I wound up here. Well, it's a long story.
Compañeras y compañeros, por favor.
Órale, tortas. Órale, tortas. Levántense. Órale, más tortas, levántense, por favor. Por favor, tortas, levántense. No peleando. Tortas, levántense, más favor. Por favor, por favor.
Les pido, por favor.
Tortas, cálmate. Cálmate, tortas. Ay, caramba, Dios mío. Tortas locas. Tortas más locas. I'm telling you, they tell us our future is South Africa, but I think it's just Mexico with a lot more niggas, bro. That's really what I think. South Africa isn't really going to happen, but Mexico with a lot more niggas is a lot more plausible. And not just niggas, but, you know, foreigners too. That's the worst part. We can handle our niggas. It's the foreigners you got to look out for.
How did we get here? How did Minnesota Somalis get to a point where the president of the United States is using his full power, and he feels comfortable using his full power to attack us? We all have an idea of how we got here. We all understand how people have been talking about us in this state, how the media has been portraying us, how we've been used as a scapegoat over and over again as the reason why everything is wrong. Levante. And we've been quiet, been very, very quiet. Now is the time that we fight back. Now is the time that we use all of our resources. We have a lot of professionals, a lot of educated people. We unify, we use our resources, we connect with our community, with our neighbors, with organizations that also want to stand next to us. And this is the time that we show Trump, the US, the world, who the Somali Minnesotans are.
Now, the thing that kind of goes without saying is that they would like to unify and organize and allegedly defend themselves against so-called white people, white supremacy, white America, whatnot. And it's creating a problem that, especially, like I talked about this before, how liberalism and race are colliding in such a way that, progressive liberalism is really going to get destroyed by the concept of race and ethnic realism. Race realism and ethnic realism are making Western liberalism seem a bit impossible, really. For example, like, let me show you something. This is a little bit of a non sequitur, but Jasmine Crockett's running for government. She wants to be a senator in Texas, right? And so you got the Somali community fighting for their Somali community, and then you got Jasmine Crockett over here doing the "I'm a black woman" thing as she runs for office. Her entire campaign is going to boil down to "I'm a black woman. Don't be mad at me. I'm a black woman. Talk to me nice because I'm a black woman. Shut up and listen because I'm a black woman."
What some of y'all are out here trying to do to Jasmine Crockett right now, it's not about her. She's fine. She's informed. And she understands power a hell of a lot better than these fools trying to drag her online. What this is really about is how comfortable some of y'all are at being wrong, loudly, while pretending that you're principled. And honestly, that disgusts me. So let's get something straight here, because being a single issue voter is a privilege. Full stop. If you can afford to decide who deserves your support based on one issue, especially one that you learned about online from somebody yapping and you didn't even bother to fact check, that tells me everything I need to know about the life that you're living. Because Black people do not get single issue lives. We don't. We don't get to wake up and say, hey, you know what? Today I'm going to be worried about foreign policy. We're worried about whether our communities get healthcare, whether our votes count.
Right. Don't criticize Crockett. Even you progressives, right? Because this is a Dear Progressives TikTok, right? Even you left-leaning Black people, be nice to Crockett. She's Black.
Whether our kids make it home, whether the air is poisoning us, whether police show restraint, whether the economy collapses on our backs, all at the same time. So when I hear I can't support Jasmine because of this one issue, what I actually hear is I've never had to survive layered harm, and I'm too arrogant to realize it. And here's where I really get irritated, right? A lot of y'all aren't even forming your own opinions. You're cosplaying conviction. You saw a phrase, you saw somebody say something about AIPAC, and somehow that turned into she doesn't stand for Palestine. And instead of asking, what? Who said that? How much did she get? When? What vote? What constraint? What's her actual record? You got up here on this here internet and doubled down. You repeated it. All because it felt righteous, right? But something tells me you were out there screaming BLM, right? Yeah. That's not ethics. That's lazy. And notice this pattern, because it's ugly, all right? The anger didn't go to party leadership.
Now, we're going to shut her up for now because you get the point. Everybody gets to fight for their little racial ethnic team. And I've been wanting to cover this particular corner of a story for a while now. Matt Walsh has kind of gone through a bit of a transformation over the years in his career as a YouTuber. There was a time when Matt Walsh didn't even believe in his white movement. Let me show you something. Oh, what the hell?
But I don't believe that our unifying principle was ever race, skin color, ethnicity. Let me finish. I don't think that's what our country ever, and I think, in fact, that's what separated our country from every other. Because you can go to any other country on earth, pretty much, and find countries that are, their unifying principle is ethnicity or religion. I think that for us, Our unifying principle was essentially a doctrine. It was the doctrine of human rights. I think our unifying principle is that doctrine, that set of ideas.
My specific question was, why would it be immoral for me to want to preserve my European heritage?
See, now Matt says that America was founded on a mystical doctrine about human rights, and we're all special, warm people.
I didn't say, do you think we should? I said, why would it be immoral?
I think it's un-American, is what I would say.
But why would it be immoral?
I think it's un-American.
But that's
I'm not gonna try to get.
No,
I don't know why you're.
it's okay.
I'm not gonna try to get into your heart and your soul and find out what's going on there. What I'm saying is, I don't think it's American. I think it's flawed, and I just told you why I think it's American.
Is it immoral for me to want to preserve our European heritage?
I guess it would really depend on what motivates that, and if you're saying that it's not motivated by bigotry, all I can do is trust you on that. I can't look inside your soul.
Now, Matt Walsh, he's taken the position at that particular juncture that if you're white and you have some beliefs in your white heritage and you want to maintain, or even, dare I say, promote the greatness of your white heritage, it probably means you're some kind of bigot and you need to shut up, and we'll probably cancel and debank you and treat you like Fuentes. And then there's this Matt Walsh.
If he had said anything to advocate for the well-being of white people as a group, even if it had nothing to do with segregation, nothing to do with anything like that, he would still be condemned. And if you don't believe me, then just go out in public sometime and say that white people should have larger families and reproduce more. Now, you aren't calling for segregation. You aren't saying anything negative about any other race. Yet, it is guaranteed to be treated just as harshly as the comments Scott Adams made, because this is what the race hustlers on the left are trying to guard against. They want other racial groups to have a sense of community, a sense of identity and belonging within the group. They want those groups to advocate for themselves. They want those groups to be concerned with the flourishing of their groups, but they stridently oppose any similar move for whites to do that as well, because they do not want whites to see themselves as a group.
And so now here is Matt Walsh, an undeterminate amount of years later, openly on team white guy. I cannot really pinpoint exactly when Matt Walsh officially became a white guy. But no, this is the weird thing about it. I'm literally shaking. I don't think he was he might have been at the Daily Wire at the beginning. I'm not sure when he joined the Daily Wire, but even now on the Daily Wire, he has joined Team White Guy, which obviously, being at the Daily Wire, puts him in an awkward position sometimes. We're not going to get into that. If you know, you know. But at some point, Matt Walsh was definitively Team White Guy. He wasn't always Team White Guy. That's my whole thing, though. That's my point.
At bottom, they don't want whites to have a racial identity. And they will tell you this directly if you ask them. If you ask, for example, why Black pride and brown pride are okay, more than okay, they're actively good, but white pride is horrendously racist, they will inform you that whites have no real racial identity. The category is too broad and vague. Thus, they argue white pride must really be an expression of hatred towards non-whites. I mean, you can't have white pride. It doesn't make any sense, they say, because it's a group that doesn't mean anything. They will simply expect you not to notice that black and brown are categories just as broad, just as vague as white. Doesn't matter. Black and brown can and should have a sense of racial identity. White must not. I mean, that's the rule. And it's why segregation can be promoted and instated as policy, but only to give non-whites their special spaces, never to do the same for whites, because to do the same would be to acknowledge the existence of white people as a group and to give that group permission to care about its own well-being.
Can I get a W? Can I get an H? Can I get an I? Can I get a T? Can I get an E? Can I get an S? Go Team Whites, go.
Peaceful, and they're protesting abortion. Yet those 500,000 people
will not get even close to half the amount of attention as a handful of white nationalists can attract. The media somehow, it's very interesting. You know, it's seems like a strange coincidence that every year when the 500,000 people are marching down the street, the media just has so many other things to focus on. They don't even notice the 500,000 people walking down through their own backyard. Yet anytime 30 white supremacists get together, they can attract the undivided attention of the media.
Now,
Why is that?
Matt. Here's Matt years ago, mad at the white supremacists. You will not replace us. Unite the white, unite the right, whatever you want to call it. He was back on his hose mad. You know, Matt Walsh was a white hoe mad back then. You know, he's come a long way from hose mad, y'all. He's come a long way.
Hose mad, hose mad, hose mad, hose mad, hose mad, hose mad.
This is about targeting women of color in the United States of America. Don't tell me, because I didn't get a single apology.
Time has expired.
My life was threatened. Thank you.
Hose mad, hose mad, hose mad, hose mad, hose mad, hose mad, hose mad.
What's happening here? How do you explain this? Why is the media and why is the left giving so much attention to these fringe whack jobs? And it's probably overstating their relevance when I say fringe. It's more like these are fringe of the fringe of the fringe. Yet they are treated like powerful voices in the national dialogue. It's the media and the left that treats them like they have something important to say that has to really be engaged with.
And now here's Matt again. Shout out to Team White People.
We know that the continued existence of any other race of people is considered deeply important, and the preservation of the historical and traditional racial identity of any nation is considered deeply important. You know, so for example, if there was an influx of white immigration to a historically black country, and that was resulting in a giant demographic shift wherein it was becoming a predominantly white country rather than predominantly black, this would be considered a major, major problem. And there's no doubt about it. And yet, in the reverse, it is either neutral or cause for celebration. But really, it should be a cause for celebration. And you know what? This pertains even to the animal kingdom. I mean, you could think about it, there's a particular type of, I don't know, hummingbird that's going extinct. Even for that, we're supposed to panic. And if I were to say, hey, whatever.
White people are like hummingbirds. Oh my God. Little teeny tiny delicate Caucasian hummingbirds. Oh my goodness. That's so cute. You little Caucasian hummingbirds. White people, you guys are like hummingbirds. Did you ever think about that? White people, did you ever think about that? You guys are like the hummingbirds.
You could think about it, there's a particular type of, I don't know, hummingbird that's going extinct. Even for that, we're supposed to panic. And if I were to say, hey, whatever, I mean, what does it matter? So we don't have that type of hummingbird. We got plenty of other hummingbirds. What does it matter what type of hummingbird it is? The difference doesn't make. So yeah, this type of hummingbird is there's more of that and there's less of this. Like, who cares? If I say that, I'm callous. Because no, it's very important that we have all varieties of hummingbirds. Every variety is very.
Okay, I hear you guys. You said Matt Walsh is a hummingbird. That's why he's got that big ass beard. It's a hummingbird nest on his chin. You guys don't want to be hummingbirds. That's fine.
This makes Jim Crow look like Jim Eagle.
Shout out to the Jim Eagle gang. Fuck is a hummingbird anyway?
Very, very important. You have to keep them all around. Every animal in the animal kingdom, we got to keep them all around. It's extremely important. If any particular variety starts to dwindle, if any particular type of species of animal gets driven out of its territory, it's a very bad thing. So it's interesting that we can see this with hummingbirds, but not with certain kinds of people. Well, in particular, one kind of person, which would be a white person. The preservation of the hummingbird community is more important than the preservation of the white race. In fact, You can't even talk about the preservation of the white. Even saying that word, that phrase, is tantamount to being in the Klan.
You know what? Did you know there is a phrase that consists of 14 words? If said correctly, in the proper order, those 14 words will get you labeled as the type of bigot or racist or white supremacy. Do you guys know what those 14 words are? Gold star to anybody who knows what those 14 magic words are. It's crazy. The power of 14 words put together in the proper order will ruin your career.
These are the standards that we are all supposed to live by, but it's like we all know it's just this game, and we all know that it's bogus and it's ridiculous.
Like, why would you want to do that? You know, why would you want to watch the people whose ancestors built the country die, mock them as they die, and then replace them? I don't understand. Like, only so, I mean, that suggests like actual hate, like homicidal hate. I would never want something like that for anybody. And by the way, it's not just the United States, it's happening all over the Western world.
Yeah.
The people whose ancestors built these countries are dying and they're being replaced. And it's like, why would you want to do that? There's something very heavy going on. You know, I mean, go to Sweden, go to the UK, go to London. I mean, it's shocking. And I don't, at this point, care if you're not allowed to notice it or if you're racist to notice it. It's happening in Ireland. Ireland was never a colonial power. Like in the United States, like, well, you have to put up with this because you
Tell
were
me
mean.
one thing the Irish ever did to you niggas. That's where I started to think this is going too far, all right? It was one thing when it was like, you know, Spain or some colonies, but, you know, what did Ireland ever do to you niggas, you know? Name one thing. Name one thing, because the leprechaun was in the hood that one time. Because one leprechaun was in the hood, you niggas think you gotta take Ireland back, right? Because one leprechaun. You see what I mean? Can't reason with niggas. They want revenge because of the leprechaun.
To Puerto Rico or something, or you know what I mean? Or you've used too much carbon, so you have an obligation to allow all of Central Africa move to your country and give them housing vouchers. Okay. But Ireland never did anything to anybody. Ireland was oppressed by Great Britain, actually. Right. It was never a colonial power. It sat out an entire
There are
world
actual
war.
movies about it.
No,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
They suffered a potato famine. So why are you doing this to the Irish? They are the indigenous population of their island. And you're watching them die and replacing them with people from the third world. On what basis are you doing that, George Soros? Actually, like, what's the real answer?
Yeah.
And you have to think that this is genocidal intent. Like, what else is it? I mean, honestly, what else is it? Oh, shut up. How about no? Because I want to live like it's 1985 in the country that I loved, where honest questions could be asked with full confidence. You had a right to do that because you're an American. And I'm going to live that way until I die. And I don't care what they do to me. I'm going to live like it's 1985 in my country. And I'm going to ask a super obvious question. Why are you doing that? And why are we putting up with it? I don't think we should.
You know, Tucker, that's crazy. I was here in 1985, and I got to tell you, it didn't suck this bad. In 1985, it was actually not so bad. It was pretty cool. Was Miami Vice out in 1985? I don't remember. But everybody, remember, you know, I love the 80s. Everybody loved the 80s. It was all good. And America was at least 85% white back then. Now, I don't know what the numbers are. The numbers are shit.
Humiliate and well, the whole point is to humiliate and degrade the indigenous population of the British Isles, the white population. I mean, that's the whole point. And are they really going to do something about it? What would that be exactly? You'd really have to force a lot of people to go back to their countries of origin, millions of people, and you need to do it really soon. And are they actually willing to do that? I don't know. But these are existential questions that we have been browbeat into ignoring for decades. But the question is, like, is Ireland Ireland if it's majority non-Irish? Oh, shut up. They're Irish. No, they're actually not Irish. Same with the UK, same with England, Scotland, Wales. Like, it's all changing so fast. Nothing like this has ever happened in all of history, except when, say, the Mongols swept across the steppe and raped everybody. Like, that was true demographic change on this scale. But even that wasn't as profound as what we're seeing in every
Well, they may not be Mongols, but that other thing is happening too. It's almost just like the Mongols, technically. It's like the Mongols, but without the horses, though. You know, same amount of assaults, but without the horses. Imagine committing the exact same level of sexual assaults without on horseback, though. You're just walking around doing it. At least back then, you know, they were riding on horses. You couldn't get away from the niggas. Now they're just walking around, just plucking girls like apples and flowers and whatnot.
Free white country around the world. I would say the West, but Australia and New Zealand also. So, like, what is that? Now, my brain is not big enough to understand what that is. I have a lot of theories about it, but I don't know if they're true. All I know is what the numbers are. And that's real. And no one feels that he can say it. Everyone's like, oh, well, if that were happening in China or India or Malaysia or Senegal, it doesn't matter. You'd be like, what the hell is that? Like, the population's totally different. Look at graduation.
How come China doesn't need to import Infinity Indians to make programs? I mean, have you ever seen Chinese tech? It's not terrible. Like, the stuff they get right, they really get right. And they didn't have to import any H-1Bs. I think they don't even like Indians. I think China and India low-key got a beef because of Tibet. So they'll never even play with having a bunch of Indians, you know, moving into their territory. Yet they still make tech. It's crazy. It's really crazy. It's amazing that you don't need a bunch of Indians to make your tech.
Pick, I don't know, King's College Law School and look at the graduation picture for the last 30 years. Who's in it? Just like, let your eyes tell you the truth for once. Like, this is a total change in population. Is it better? Is it worse? Can't have that conversation. Who's pushing this? Does the population want it? Population clearly doesn't want it. There's no polling that's meaningful on the subject. I mean, there's no referendum on it. You don't get to decide. You've got no voice in it other than you get to go to jail if you complain loudly enough about it. What is this? I think it's the biggest and darkest thing that has happened in the last 1,000 years, for sure. And I think it's leading somewhere really, really bad. It's not happening by accident. That's obvious, because it's only happening in white countries.
I mean, I think that...
Oh, shut up, white supremacist. Well, in fact, I'm not a white supremacist.
Well, now, on the one hand, Tucker Carlson has definitely made a point of noticing this problem in public, right? But at the same time, he still has beef because he hasn't quite gone all the way. He just, you know, for the majority of the actual right wing, he just hasn't gone all the way. And so that's why he has beef with young Bill the Butcher himself.
It's not enough to not be anti-white. That's not enough. It's not enough to be anti-white. You have to be pro-white. You have to be, in the United States of America, pro-white. Yes. White people are under attack. White people are being genocided in the world. White people are being dispossessed. It's not enough to pump the brakes and say, let's stop and pause it right here. We need to be pro-white. We need to defend our people. We need to exist. We need to make sure that in 100 years, there will still be white people, that there will still be white countries with their distinct heritage and culture and languages and their political power and sovereignty intact. You must be in favor of this or you are our enemy. Period. End of story. So don't come around with this bullshit where Tucker comes on and says, I love Israel, I'm pro-Israel, but I don't like this identity politics for white people. Take your fucking badge and shove it up your faggot ass. I'm so sick of it. You attacked my father. Your dad ran Voice of America. And who the fuck even are you, pal? It's still white up in Maine where you live. Not down in Portland, not where we are, not in Chicago, not in California, not in New York. When you are a multi-millionaire flying between your residences on your private jet in the middle of nowhere, Maine, in the middle of nowhere, Florida, you know, you can afford to be in favor of those universal principles. Go try that in any other city. See how far that gets you. Come to Chicago. Try that out in Garfield Park. Try that out in Pilsen. See how far that gets you. Universal principles. Fuck you. White people need to get stronger. White people need to get a lot stronger. That's what we need to do. Because we are dying, and no one seems to be aware of that. People are playing games, telling white people, go back to bed, go back to sleep. Telling white people, hey, we're going to bring the cost of housing down. Housing? How about our country? Where are the houses located? That's what drives me crazy. And there's sort of a rich irony in there. This is not about housing. This is about our home. There's a difference. That's always the answer. Why did Mamdani get elected? Why did Trump get elected? Why are people angry? Oh, it must be because of inflation. It's because lumber and copper and appliances and chips are making housing expensive and insurance is going up. It's not about housing. It's about our home. It's about whether the country feels like home, whether it resembles the country it used to be when our parents grew up in it and our grandparents grew up in it. Do they still have Christmas? Do they still celebrate the Mass? Do they still obey God and Jesus Christ?
Even in Black America, these are questions, you know. It seems like the traditions of Black America are being lost in all of this diversity. You know, I played the video in the earlier show about this whole constant retconning of the Black American identity. You know, we were Moors. We were Aboriginals. You know, we built the pyramids. We were the original starseed alien people. All this diversity is washing Black America away right along with white America.
What kind of society are you living in? They want cheap houses, but it's going to be a boarding house for the world's poor. As long as it's governed by these universal principles, you can spare us the speech about blood guilt. I don't want to hear that ever again. I'm just against blood guilt. I'm just against blood guilt. Tell that to President Stacey Abrams when she's putting us in gas chambers for being white. Give them your little fucking cute speech about blood guilt. Try that when you have no power. None of these niggas have motion except for me. There has to be one real nigga left in America, in this damn country.
You do know your race card declined, don't you? You call white people racist so much they stop caring. Yeah, because it seems like there's only one group in America that you're allowed to just openly discriminate against. Y'all don't even hide it anymore. Every other group gets protection, advocacy, equity programs, and even entire institutions built around it. But when it comes to white folks, discrimination is suddenly accepted worldwide. If racism is wrong, why is it only wrong depending on who it's aimed at? Why do we act like some people deserve empathy and others don't? All the white guys I know are just regular guys, just some dads at a football practice watching our sons play. Ain't no millionaires, billionaires, ain't no fancy cars, just hardworking men. Not every white person is just born with a silver spoon in their mouth. Jeff Bezos was raised by a single teenage mother. His father left when he was a baby. She eventually met a Cuban immigrant named Mike Bezos, and he adopted Jeff, gave him his last name. And look who he turned out to be. He's not a victim. J.K. Rowling was a single mother on welfare when she wrote Harry Potter. She would write in cafes just to keep her baby warm. Also rejected by 12 publishers before one finally took her on. And look how that turned out. The world's first billionaire author. Rejection is a part of the price of admission. White people just want the same rules for everybody, and that alone gets them attacked. I'm gonna tell you right now, white people are not the problem. The problem is there's a group that built their entire identity off of hating y'all, because they just need somebody to blame. And you're the only group that they feel like they can get away with targeting. But this is America, so we're not gonna sit here and apologize for who we are. And we're definitely not gonna accept double standards. If you want equality, then fine, let's have equality. But it's gonna be the same rules, the same respect, and the same accountability for everybody.
So Piers Morgan and Tucker Carlson, they were having a conversation about how basically the white population is going extinct in England, right? And Piers Morgan was basically sitting there and being like, you know what? ain't really got a real big deal with that. You know, I like my Indian restaurants and shit, my tikka masala. You know, I'm fucking with that. And in fact, I would replace a lot of white people with a lot of foreigners coming in. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, see, this is what Piers Morgan and a lot of niggas don't really understand. Whiteness and the West go hand in hand. Whiteness and exploration go hand in hand. Whiteness and philosophy goes hand in hand. Whiteness and democracy goes fucking hand in hand. What does this mean? If white people are gone, the West is gone. All the things that has made the West great has come from white people. That's just the fucking truth. So if all these niggas are gone and you have the entire third world, Mohammed, Omar, all these niggas coming to your country and all the white people are now fucking gone, the third world just becomes the third world again. These niggas are coming to the West because the West is great. The West was created by white people. If the white people are fucking gone, then the West is not going to be great anymore. This is where you're just going to get the constant authoritarianism, the tyranny, and all the bullshit that you were trying to escape from because the white people are fucking gone. That's why we actually need the Wiggers. If the Wiggers are gone, the elections are fucking gone. I'm going to be sitting here with all you dumb niggas because y'all aren't thinking about space. You guys aren't thinking about inventing anything or having democracy or any of these high levels of fucking thought. I'm going to be like, hey, y'all, we need a fucking election. Y'all going to be like, nah, fuck that. War. Let's just kill niggas because that's what it's like. So white people getting replaced is actually a horrible thing for the West completely.
The past and ditches made the whole eat me for dinner. All of my eyes, I can't see. I'm at the jump out my body, I'm ready to leave.
Get out. No, he just made a white European Kino video with some trap rap behind it. No. Smashing monsters. Oh, what happened? Oh my God. 2025 has been a crazy year, man. It's been a crazy, crazy year. Now we got this whole conversation happening on CNN, and I wish I could get the full clip, but I could not find the full piece on this, but it's worth a watch.
Well, I think it's important to have a conversation about America's not a charity. We have the opportunity and the ability to select who we want to come in and who we think is going to contribute economically and culturally. In Minnesota, we've seen 81% of Somalians are on welfare, 35% of Somalia's GDP is remittances, and now they've stolen at least $1 billion, maybe $8 billion. And so there's a question, the Somalian community.
No,
so there's a question of do we want to continue to allow
the
people...
Somalian community did not steal $1.6 billion. The 60 or so people who were convicted or who were charged with those crimes, they are responsible. Why is this collective responsibility thing now suddenly in vogue?
This is an important point to make, and this is something that I think the American people resonate with. Culturally, there are things that we do not want in America. Female genital mutilation happens in Somalia. We don't want that here. So I think it's okay to say, look, there are cultural things that we don't want to bring into America.
Wait, look, there are people who...
You know, Abby kills me. She does this dumbfounded, like, I don't even understand what you're talking about face. Like this is the first time you ever read any bad news about anything.
Culturally, there are things that we do not want in America. Female genital mutilation happens in Somalia. We don't want that here. So I think it's okay to say, look, there are cultural things that we don't want to bring into America.
Wait, look, there are people who we allow in this country who have multiple wives. They, polygamy.
I don't
totally
want to encourage that. I don't want more of that.
But they're here. They're Americans just like everybody else.
But
I don't
want more of that? That's the question.
I mean, I couldn't afford that if I'm just being I'm just being honest.
Talk about inflation.
Yeah.
When you got to pay for multiple
what we want
wives.
on our immigration policy.
For me, that has been very difficult to reckon with in this moment when we have a Trump regime that is so deeply racist, that is going after every immigrant community. Nobody is immune to this, quite frankly, unless you are a white South African, the only group of people that is welcome to this country under our refugee policy now. And we are seeing, devastating and racist treatment of our Somali American community now, of our Afghan community, of course, the Latino community. But again, nobody has been immune to this. I've been to the Eloy Detention Center in Arizona multiple times. I've talked to dozens of women there about the horrific conditions, about the abuse and misconduct and the torture that they have experienced. For me, that has been very difficult to reckon with in this moment when we have.
And so now the argument becomes, is it in fact racist for the majority white population to defend itself with immigration? Because that's really, in a certain argument, that is kind of what's happening. We need to make America white again, according to a certain line of thinking. And so immigration is help. I mean, what do you call it? Immigration enforcement, ICE, they're helping that process. And people are like, oh no, it's racism.
Turns out it was very much correct. And it also helps to explain why currently the US policy is that we only let white people claim asylum to come into this country right now if you're from the continent of Africa. He's saying it all out loud now.
I guess for me, those are obvious lies, right? In the time, in the moment, there was no question. Even if he did not say it, the sentiment was so abundantly clear that to me, getting the confirmation of it right now is a little bit less about, aha, gotcha, than it is that he has forgotten the basic level of pretending that he has to do in public about these things that he feels. Like, I do not think that 4 or 5 years ago, he would have given up to ghosts like this in front of people. This is another side of a man that doesn't have it quite together like he did before.
But I also think he also knows that there's no penalty for it, that it's okay now in the Republican Party to say, we only want to let white people come into this country. We only want immigrants from European countries. That's okay to say when it maybe wasn't okay to say 5 years ago.
This is not a race issue.
That was literally an American policy up until the 1960s or whatever. But basically, and most people don't know this, but one of the first acts of Congress was basically to limit immigration to America from, white European countries of good standing, which was like Britain, France, and Germany, I guess. They weren't even messing with Italians back then. I swear to God. One of the very first acts of Congress was to make sure that they only imported the good Europeans. They didn't want all of Europe. They didn't want those dark, mysterious, foreign Eastern Europeans. No. They wanted British, maybe a couple of French, and some Germans. Lots of Germans, actually. We were pretty cool with Germany up until a point.
This is a cultural issue. And what we've seen in
I didn't make it a
Somalia-
race issue. The Trump administration did when they literally, their policy on asylum is that no one comes in except for white South Africans.
It does not. So this year, the only people we let in asylum was people from South Africa. That does not mean that
white people
the Trump
from South
administration
Africa,
is
not,
only
not
letting
people from South Africa, only the white one.
And so now it's a question of, is it wrong to limit your immigration to, let's say, friendly countries and friendlier cultures, more compatible countries and cultures? Because otherwise, why would you really want to open yourself up to people who are openly hostile toward you?
You work all fucking day. You don't got shit. Thank you for working so hard so I can be home all day, free. I can use my EBT. Go to work for me, white boy, white girl. Yeah. Go to work for me, you fucking white animals. Fucking work for me. Yeah, you fucking work for me. And the US government they work for me. All of you work for me. Now go to work. Pay them taxes. Take care of me and my people. All right? This is my land. I control this place. This is my reality. You all gonna be enchained. I'm gonna lock all you guys up if you don't pay your taxes. You better fucking pay your taxes.
Is this really what the end goal of immigration is, though? Why should this be the end goal of immigration? Why does it ultimately have to culminate in that? And not only that, not only is it people who are hostile to the native population, the host population, who literally has to pay taxes at gunpoint, But then you bring over, you know, your foreign problems as well. Your foreign gangland problem. We have our own homegrown gangs. We don't need foreign gangs.
And attacked because Dharmjit Mond refused to pay. One bullet piercing a trailer, then penetrating the house.
He said, you have to donate us $2 million. That's your duty to give us $2 million. I said, $2 million? I thought somebody joking.
Dharmjit says the calls and voice messages telling him to give millions of dollars started about 2 months before the shooting.
Message, same thing. If I don't pay them, so they can shoot me.
Another came afterwards. The caller says next time the bullets will be fired inside Dharmjit's home at his forehead. And the caller says he's from the Lawrence Bishnoi gang. Lawrence Bishnoi has been in prison in India since 2015, but is allegedly still running an international criminal gang.
Like, I don't have any issue with Lawrence Bishnoi. I don't have no issue with the Indian government. I don't have no issue with anyone here.
Dharmjit says he doesn't know why he was targeted. He's a general contractor. And he says the messages are all from the same person.
I can recognize the voice. They sent me voice message too.
They sent him a message saying they knew he moved to his brother's house, then attacked again.
It was a big noise. It's like glass breaking, or it was a really weird noise. I never heard that kind of noise.
So you wind up bringing a lot more than just, you know, happy, hardworking foreign people. You bring a lot of problems you didn't anticipate having because, you know, you were liberal and you thought it was a fantasy. You thought it would be all fine. It's just like in the Disney movies. It's just like when Sidney Poitier came to dinner that one night.
Shit, I just get him out of here. Make America great again. I'm John Fitzgerald, and I am a MAGA. Make America great again. Get him the hell out of here. Get him the hell out of here.
You hear the way these guys are talking to him.
Yeah, no, I want him gone. I want him out of here. They are the most unfriendly. We live right across the street from them. And there's been times where this whole cul-de-sac has been completely lined with Mercedes, BMWs.
This is how they talk. Second generation.
Hey, I'm right here though.
Unbelievable. This is the problem. You got the second, third generation here. You invited them in, invite the illegals in, and then they have kids that hate this country, are taught to hate this country. And then you got neighbors living right across the street that have to deal with it.
There might be repercussions for me because, you know, but 15, 20, 25 know where I live. I ain't afraid.
Yeah.
Not backing down.
If you could say something to President Trump to tell him, what would you tell him?
President Trump, start with Ilhan Omar, get her out of here and drag all of this business here, get them out of here. Yeah, we're Americans. Yeah.
So I noticed.
Old man harassed in his house, basically trapped. He's like under siege right now. This is like a Ottoman siege. You know, you can't step too far off your front porch. Something might happen. God knows what. You'd be afraid to find out what happens.
So you've got a for sale sign out here. How much of that decision has to do with illegals and the Somalis that are here in the neighborhood?
Oh, a lot. It's a major part of our reason why we want to get out of here. I'm wondering, it's been a little over a year now that we've been on the market. Can't sell, hasn't sold. I have to ask, why not? This is a beautiful neighborhood, except for that.
Well, is it really a beautiful neighborhood then? I mean, I know it's like snow falling and there are trees everywhere, but you know, then there's the other stuff.
With your tax dollars.
Yeah, my tax dollars and your tax dollars and anybody who's listening to this and who sees this, it's your money too. And it just, there it is.
What do you think of your governor and your mayor?
Oh, it's another reason why we're leaving. We just get us out of here. I mean, I hate to feel like I'm the one that needs to leave, but that's how I feel. I'm the one that needs to leave. Jeez.
That's sad.
Very sad. Very sad. Trump, get Ilhan Omar, get her out of here. Chief O'Hara, our police will not assist ICE. What the hell is this? I mean, what's going on? And those 6 people in Congress don't obey illegal orders from the president. Jesus. I mean, you want insurrection? I feel like it's starting in my neighborhood right across from my house. I'm standing out here in shorts and a short shirt, and man, I tell you what,
Is it really wrong to kick people out of your country? I mean, the race side of it almost doesn't even matter. At some point, is it wrong? Considering all that's at stake, all that could and has happened, is it actually wrong? Here's young Matt Walsh again. You can tell how old this video is because look how skinny his beard is. Can't even hide a hummingbird in there yet.
But yes, I'm going to make the case that for a white settler in the 1800s or a pilgrim in the 1600s, or an explorer, conquistador in the 1500s, for them to have racist attitudes was not that those racist attitudes were not as bad as the racist attitudes that you might find today. For most of us, being racist was never even really like an option. We grew up in a world where, for a lot of us anyway, we grew up in an environment where it just never even came up. It never even occurred to most. It never even occurred to me. Perhaps they engaged in practices that are to us horrifying and incomprehensible and brutal and savage. Which, some of the pioneers and settlers and conquerors, they would have seen, that's how they would have seen human sacrifices and scalping and cannibalism. But if we were to encounter that with this with this hypothetical alien race, who they look a lot like us, but they're also profoundly different in how they look. They're very different in how they act, how they speak, their customs and everything. If that were to happen for us, there would be a very real debate among us about whether or not these creatures are equal to us. That would not be a given under any circumstance. I'm talking about looking at our ancestors in context, in perspective, and accepting that there were great men and women in the past, even if they had flaws, even if they were racist, there were still great men and women, and we could learn quite a bit from them. We could learn positive lessons from them if we would look at them and stop turning them into cartoons.
All right, I'm confused. Matt Walsh just said we can learn from those racist people of the past. Nah, I'm black. I ain't got to learn from them niggas. I'm good. I'm good, son. I don't need to learn about conquering and colonizing and how to really run shit when you really ain't got nothing but your hands and your sword. I don't need to learn none of these things. I don't need to learn how to crash into a line of primitive Stone Age barbarians on a giant horse with my armor and my pistol and my Spanish steel. I don't need to learn about any of that stuff, bro. That's corny. That's corny. You know what I want to learn about? I want to learn about these hoes, Matt. That's what I want to learn. I want to learn about these hoes.
About looking at our ancestors in context, in perspective, and accepting that there were great men and women in the past, even if they had flaws, even if they were racist, there were still great men.
Yes, Freezone. Matt Walsh is standing on foundational white American business, bro. Matt Walsh was low-key team FWA for a long time. He just really couldn't let his white flag fly. You know, he had other pressures and arrangements that he had to answer to. But this was him long time ago. He was pro-conquistador. That's pro-colonizer.
Alien race who, they look a lot like us, but they're also profoundly different in how they look. They're very different in how they act, how they speak, their customs and everything. If that were to happen for us, there would be a very real debate among us about whether or not these creatures are equal to us. That would not be a given under any circumstance. I'm talking about looking at our ancestors in context, in perspective, and accepting that there were great men and women in the past, even if they had flaws, even if they were racist, there were still great men and women, and we could learn quite a bit from them. We could learn positive lessons from them if we would look at them and stop turning them into cartoons and saying, oh, they were just all racist, so they were terrible, and that's all they were. Not understanding that by that logic, we have just dismissed everybody in history. Not just them, but everybody. If on that basis we can dismiss an entire person from the past, then we're dismissing basically everybody.
And there you go. There you go. And ladies and gentlemen, one more time for young Bill the Butcher.
That's why they're getting payments in Evanston. That's why they're getting reparations in certain municipalities. It is literally now a political policy to take money from white people and give it to black people because they take their own side. They don't vote for somebody that they consider to be racist. They are pro-black because they are black, and they know that as black people, they have distinct interests, and they fight for them. The same is true with Jews. Jews play identity politics as immigrants, as religious Jews, as ethnic Jews. They have distinct interests. They organize on the basis of identity, and they fight for them. They use their resources, their position to advocate for their own cause. And that is why you cannot offend them. That is why you cannot deny their genocide, because they will punish you. They will use their power to punish you. That is identity politics. And now, in the big 2025, when white people are finally waking up and realizing we are a people too. We have a culture too. We are a race. We are an ethnicity. We are a people. We're a proud people. We're a noble people. We are one of the great races in the history of mankind.
Shout out to the audience, man. Appreciate you guys supporting the show. Let me read some of these super chats real quickly. I kind of been on a roll. I haven't been reading any super chats. Shout out to Rational Bass with the $2. You know, if you anti-white tea, anti-male or not, get out. Shout out to my man Rational B with the $2 super chat.
I need that money.
Rational B again with the $2. Notice her intensity eyeing down everyone like Tyson. Yeah, things are getting a little bit spicy out there.
Fuck you. War.
Ivan's channel with the €5. He says God took a dump on, and he said God took a dump, and out of the fecal matter came out Rashid from Pakistan and Siraj from India. Somehow they found their way to UK, Australia, and Canada. You know, don't forget Italy, Spain, Sweden. You know, they're spread out. The Majestic with the $2 says whites need to rise up and regulate.
This makes Jim Crow look like Jim Eagle.
Niggas have motion except for me. There has to be one real nigga left in America, in this damn country. And we have a country We have peoplehood and political interests, and we're going to fight for them. White people are starting to realize that they are the frog in the pot of boiling water. And the boiling water is called diversity. For 60 years, we have been the stupid people welcoming in non-white immigrants who trample on our society, everything that we love. Civil and civic order, our holidays, our religion, our heroes, basic decency and decorum. They trample on all of it, and we have tolerated it out of altruism. Some sense of fairness. Well, we colonized them, now they can colonize us a little bit. We colonized them, now they can disrespect us a little bit. It's growing pains.
Hit that like button, y'all. Throw $1 in the hat for the panel. The link is already in the chat, by the way. We might have us a short panel if you want to come up. The link is in the chat.
White people are waking up and realizing, wait a second, we're the minority now.
That is actually technically true on a global scale. People of European descent are, in fact, a global minority. So that would mean the concept of minority in and of itself is sort of inverted. And then ironically, even within the context of America, like, what happens when America becomes majority minority? Do we still treat white people as, you know, non-minorities then? When technically their white bloc is no longer the majority bloc. Like, the very definitions that we've all been sort of living under don't quite hold up like they used to. And what does all that mean going forward anyway? These are all the new questions and the new arguments. This is why I say, like, the politics of the boomer era is over. You know, the civil rights, you know, marching over the bridge, feeling guilty about the black people because of slavery and all that. That whole wave is dying. It's going to die, like, within our lifetimes. Most of us right now listening, we're going to watch all kind of crazy political changes in the next 10 years. When the Zoomers and whoever comes up behind the Zoomers, they finally hit their stride.
For every Black Republican, I really want y'all to take a long look in the mirror and ask, do you love the color of your skin? Because y'all allowed this man in office. It's something that our ancestors fought for, got beat for, got dogs on them, got sprayed with water hoses, got hung for. They fought for these rights for us, and y'all squandered them away for money. Y'all squandered them away just to be closer to white people. What a disgrace y'all are to our community. My mom wasn't even born when this shit came through. My mom wasn't even born. And you mean to tell me y'all let this man take this from us? Something our ancestors fought for? Y'all really let that shit happen? If you are Black and you voted for this man, go play in traffic. Because this shit right here, this should have never happened. Everybody is about to suffer for this. Everybody. Everybody. Race, color, religion, national origin. This man is making America white again before Jim Crow. And we told y'all that. We told y'all he is trying to take us back to Jim Crow. And y'all sat there and y'all said, I don't want DEI. I don't want an advantage. DEI is not a fucking advantage. Qualified as any other white man. And y'all let this shit go down.
Yo, I think it's a real psychosis, man. Right? They've been told that they've been oppressed, right? Oppression, 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 oppression. Then it comes to like the real world and they spaz out. Like, look at this broad. I mean,
My
she's like
God.
she's halfway disabled, man.
And, you know, it's funny. I played those videos earlier with that black dude and then the other girl who they wanted us to think that racism or white supremacy is a type of mental illness, but like maybe the belief in white supremacy is actually the mental illness itself. The fact that you think there's this network of Bubbas and Bobs and Chucks out there trying to keep you down. And I'm bringing up this conversation about birthright citizenship to kind of round it all out, because that is like the last piece in the puzzle. Trump wanted to end the birthright citizenship, not because, you know, black people are a problem, but he doesn't want the chain migration and the anchor baby problem to continue.
Supreme Court analyst Joan Biskupic, who is in the newsroom. What's happening, Joan?
Supreme Court just this minute, Brianna, announced.
And shout out to Carmen, by the way, Miss Cantrell with the 199 for the PANA. The link is in the chat, by the way. The link is in the chat. Thank you guys for coming out today. Gonna have not a long PANA, but we're gonna get a couple of people up here while we still can. Appreciate you guys coming out.
I need that money. It's going to take up challenge to President Trump's order lifting birthright citizenship. You might remember on January 20th, his first day in office, he took his Sharpie pen and he said, this is a big one. And what he did was he tried to eliminate the automatic birthright citizenship that all Americans have had for more than a century. And what that does, it goes to the 14th Amendment of the Constitution that says, all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States. That means that anyone who's born here, Brianna, automatically becomes a U.S. citizen. And what Donald Trump's executive order tried to do was say anyone who was born of someone who was not here lawfully or who was here on some sort of temporary status, that person's baby would not automatically be a citizen. It's a very it's probably of all the Trump actions that have been taken to date, Brianna, this one is the most challenging because what it does is it flies in the face of the 14th Amendment that was adopted in 1868, and it flies in the face of an 1898 Supreme Court precedent that said, even if you were born of, in that case, it happened to be a Chinese national, even if you were born of someone who was not here as a U.S. citizen, you definitely still have citizenship here in the U.S., Brianna. And the court has not set exactly what the timetable will be for hearing oral arguments, but I imagine they would be in the spring with a decision by the end of June.
Okay, so how would that play out? We would then just see the normal oral arguments. And I notice you're pointing at your ear, Joan. I think maybe you're having some.
Now
kind of
I can hear you. Now
okay,
I
you can hear me now. All right. So how would that play out? We would just be able to hear oral arguments and really get a sense of where the justices are on this issue.
Exactly. Just as a kind of reminder of what's happened, the Supreme Court took up a kind of a mini chapter in this last spring when several lower court judges said that this was blatantly unconstitutional and issued nationwide orders. And the Supreme Court heard just a part of that dispute, saying they'd look only at lower court judges' authority to issue nationwide injunctions. They rejected that. They rejected the lower court's action, but they never got to the merits. So what we'll do is we will hear early in 2026, you'll be able to hear, everybody in our audience will be able to hear, because these arguments will be live streamed on the Supreme Court audio, and hear the Trump lawyers make their case for why Donald Trump should be able to roll back this automatic citizenship that has been with us, as I say, for more than a century. And
it'd be funny if Trump lawyers got in the Supreme Court and said flat out, this bill was for black people and you guys abused the black people with this bill. It'd be so funny if Trump started to be like pro-black on the Supreme Court through like his lawyers or whatever. Lawyers come to the Supreme Court with like dashikis on, a kufi and shit.
Orange is the new black. So it wouldn't surprise me.
We're like this weird Black Mirror type of reality. Anything is possible. You never know. If Nancy Pelosi and Chuck and kneel for Floyd, Donald Trump can be pro-black too. Like he can send his pro-black lawyers. What if they're all older black people too? Be like a bunch of civil rights era lawyers going in there trying to save black people in the Supreme Court.
Because what if, I mean, we talk about Pan-African and all that, like what if the black American has to protect themselves from all the other blacks?
That's what I'm arguing though.
What if it's conspicuous though? It's like obvious, like, okay, we obviously gotta protect ourselves from these because they're really not like us at all.
But think about the extra math. That there's an equation that this is just a piece of, right? So you feeling the need to protect yourself from the other non-American nationalities or ethnicities or whatever, that puts you on team white America. And so now, and this is what's weird about the black American position. This is why I'm kind of weird about the FBA thing too, because underneath FBA is the same typical left-wing progressive black hostility toward like white people. They want their, reparations and all of that bullshit. But ultimately, you have to choose America or not. Now, you can not, and then you can say, I want all these things because, America did me wrong, and I don't care if America burned. You can play that game. But my position, my contention is this, though. If you're going to be pro-America, pro-Western civilization, then you're going to have to let the majority of that racial grievance go, because I don't think the majority of black life right now is hindered by the racial grievance that the so-called pro-blacks would have us believe.
That's because to the quote you have here, look at these two white women cheering for their own people's destructions. That's because they haven't been subjugated. All right? They yearn for it. If you don't do it, this is what you get.
And they're entitled.
We are entitled. We literally have entitlements.
I mean, when you have people who survive off entitlement, even the concept of like fairness or justice, feels like oppression to them. So they just even when you listen to them talk about like solving for why, it's always some government program, like some kind of more entitlement needs to be taking place. That's how they can think. That's how they just think.
I mean, we keep actual other Homo sapiens as pets. Literal pets. It has to stop.
Remember, I keep telling you, go ahead.
Well, I remember when Uncle Dave introduced the concept of mud seals into the conversation. Like who you got to have that bottom tier. If it takes on the shape of a pyramid, that bottom baseline is there's going to be a lot of them, and they have to hold everything else up.
Yeah, but they're not holding anything up. You're taking from the top of the pyramid and giving to the bottom. Bottom ain't doing shit. Bottom needs to take their ass to the fields. Turn big rocks into little rocks. Something. Anything.
I think they're getting something. There's a return on investment.
Are they producing? They are not producing.
They may not produce, but there's a return on investment. There's a
what is the return?
It could be routing, having competition. I know this is present in the tobacco industry, where you lock in the industry to where you can only have big players in it. There's also a little bit of I know for sure, like the military industrial complex, getting more people to be soldiers or getting more men to be soldiers.
These people don't become soldiers. They're too dumb. There is also no return.
Also, these people come here and they're still nationalists for their country. They're not even American. So they're not going to go and fight for America. That's not what these people do. Like these people literally come here and tell us how great Somalia is, and it's a great country, and they hang their flag outside the window. They're not fighting in our army.
But when you tell them to go back, they're like, no, I need to stay here.
Yeah,
No,
well,
it-
I think that should be a deportable. Like that chick that was, I don't know, that one clip that came on like the last week where she said, "No, I totally support Colombia." I think that should be grounds for dismissal, right?
It actually-
Denaturalization.
It actually is. If you take the oath and forsake all the other countries, if you will, and then you turn around and say you didn't or whatever, like that's actually written down. I mean, it's grounds for denaturalization.
I think that's already happened with some of these protesters at the college campuses.
But
whatever.
who's gonna enforce it though?
That's what I'm saying. It's already happened at the it's happened to these protesters because it was with the whole Gaza thing. So I think
Well,
it
they
was
were-
a couple of people from Colombia, maybe, or at least one person.
Yeah,
It needs to be on a larger scale.
deported for that, right? I mean, you got to probably put on a foreign military's uniform and do something to get denaturalized. You can't just say, "Oh, I root for Colombia."
Well, I mean, I think we have slightly bigger, more complex problems than just that. Like, if you look at the Minnesota problem with the Somali scam thing, right? It's not even just that there's been a lot of this abuse of the welfare system, fraud, and all that, but now they have like entrenchment. So that's legal municipal entrenchment, whether it's in the local government or it's in the local law enforcement, right? And that's more of a that's like pulling a tick out at that point. You kind of have to go in there and like really pull things out by the root, because how do you like administratively deal with something like that from Washington D.C. Well, or like, for example, go all the way to the opposite end of the country in Texas, where they're building these little Sharia towns and whatnot. And I hear they're trying to ban it and outlaw it, but I don't know if it's just that simple. This is something, it seems like simple legal paperwork and legal machinations won't really solve it. It'll just put a Band-Aid over it.
I think what happens is they need to pass a law that if you're not third generation, you can't run for office in this country. Because this idea that like you could just come to this country and at 20 and become a citizen, and then at 40 you can run for office and still hold up the flag of your country, that's not going to work. And it doesn't work anywhere else in the world, right? And I know that like Abby Phillips wouldn't understand. And, unless I was a white man explaining it to her. But like, these people cannot come here and do this.
Yo, which is crazy, man. Like, I wasn't able to hear part of the show, but you played the clip, Hood, where she's like, "Who's they?" Did you play that one?
No,
Abby
no,
Phillips.
no. Hold up. I think I had that clip. I don't think I actually pulled it up. Let me go back and see.
Yeah, Abby Phillips was like, "Who's they?" And old girl had said who they was before, and then old girl she was like, "I ain't backing down from this. This is what I mean." She said this. She said the Somali community.
Yeah, talking about scamming or whatever coming out the Somali community.
Yeah, like okay, she didn't say all, but it's 81% of the people. At least 81% of the people caught. I'm like,
And this is why.
Go ahead.
And this is what I said during the earlier show, Hood. When Keisha talks about this alliance, she sees it with her white women and a bunch of foreigners. Ain't none of you dark-skinned Negroes in the mix of that. She wants you out of here with white man.
Yeah, but even old girl was saying, she's like, yo, America's not a charity case. What, like, just think about it, man. If you're running your household, you don't bring like burdens in to your house. Anything that comes in your house or whatever, it's got to be a plus, not a negative.
But okay, now you and I know that, right? All the men up here know that. But now think about women you may have been with, women you may have seen your friends been with, and all that stuff. Do they operate on that principle that you just explained?
Well, technically, they don't in the whole, right? But technically, they do on if it's really at their level. Because you'd be like, hey, you gonna open up your house for one of these people? I mean, there's been plenty of man on the street interviews for years and years now. Be like, all right, we got a homeless person, or we got this refugee. How many will you take? And they're like, oh, I can't take any right now. I don't have enough room, or like some other excuse. Somebody else needs to do that. Not in my house.
Let me run this clip real quick.
Well, I think it's important to have a conversation about America's not a charity. We have the opportunity and the ability to select who we want to come in and who we think is going to contribute economically and culturally. In Minnesota, we've seen 81% of Somalians are on welfare. 35% of Somalia's GDP is remittances. And now they've stolen at least $1 billion, maybe $8 billion. And so there's a question, the Somalian community. So there's a question of do we want to continue to allow
I mean, that is a stupid who's they question. Like, stop. I hate that about Abby and a lot of the black professional political class women. There's such a lack, like at least with the FBA thing, there's an attempt to have some type of team national loyalty. But the chicks are, they don't have loyalties. They have, whatever the hell they have.
We've seen 81% of Somalians are on welfare. 35% of Somalia's GDP is remittances. And now they've stolen at least $1 billion, maybe $8 billion. And so there's a question, the Somalian community. So there's a question of do we want to continue to allow
the
people...
Somalian community did not steal $1.6 billion. The 60 or so people who were convicted or who were charged with those crimes, they are responsible. Why is
Abby the immigrant, guys? Don't forget.
This is an important point to make, and this is something that I think the American people resonate with. Culturally, there are things that we do not want in America. Female genital mutilation happens in Somalia. We don't want that here. So I think it's okay to say, look, there are cultural things that we don't want to bring into America.
Wait, look, there are people who we allow in this country who have multiple wives. They, polygamy.
I don't
totally
want to encourage
fine.
that. I don't want more of that.
But they're here. They're Americans just like everybody else.
But
I don't
want more of that. That's the question.
I mean, I couldn't afford that if I'm just being, I'm just being honest.
Yeah, you could tell Abby is second generation Caribbean or African. You can
I think
tell.
you're right. I'm not sure where exactly, but I think you are right.
Even then, though, man, like I have never met like a Jamaican before, like the last 5 years. There was like, yeah, we need to have this coalition with all these people from all these other different countries because we're all one. I was like,
bro.
Yeah, they're just liberals.
Bro, they don't say it out loud, but I'm telling you, I grew up in New York City among Caribbeans. They are okay with a whole bunch of immigration coming in. When they get down to the nitty gritty, they're okay with it. And that's why I sort of have this idea that like all immigration needs to stop. Because when you talk to a lot of these immigrants, they're okay with having the doors open.
Well, I understand that. Possibly like maybe it's because of the area I live in, and then it's like almost like a self-selection kind of thing. Because like I remember talking to this one Jamaican cat, like talked to him for years, man. And I remember, earlier on before I kind of got red pilled by certain things, I was like, damn, man, this dude's kind of harsh. I'm like, no, he's willing to make the necessary sacrifices to continue society and to better society. And I remember just talking to like people like that from all over the world, actually. But they were of a particular leaning, you know what I'm saying? They weren't no doors open types.
Yeah, a lot are, and that's problematic.
Well, it's what
Right,
I
and
always
they-
say, bro. Everybody's a nationalist for the country they really love.
Yep.
Well, that was the end of the clip anyway. But yeah, we're gonna wind this down in a minute. I'm gonna get up out of here soon. But closing arguments, gentlemen.
I'll kick it off here. Stop all immigration for at least 20 years. Start running everybody's papers. And let's clean this shit up. It's getting out of line now. Make apple pie great again. Good night, gentlemen. Good night, gentlemen.
I got one more. I got one more thing for you guys. Hold on a second. Hold on. I forgot about this quick story.
A man and woman are now in federal custody after police say they trapped a federal agent in a car and dropped him off at the New Hope Police Department. Federal documents say 24-year-old Oluwademi Lole Bame Boye and 23-year-old Rakia Frazier face charges for assaulting a Department of Homeland Security investigations agent. According to the criminal complaint, agents were watching an apartment parking lot in Plymouth when they tried to talk to Boye Baye about his immigration status. While trying to prevent the two from driving off, an agent became trapped inside the car and they drove off anyhow. The pair were both taken into custody while they brought the agent to the New Hope Police Department. A man and woman are now in.
I don't even know.
I want you to know this
crazy foreign story, but that's what happened.
No, actually, it's not a foreign story. Did you pay attention to the names?
Yeah, those are foreign. Those are Jawa names.
No, sir. No, sir.
Well,
Pay
Keisha
attention.
Frazier, but the first dude had like 8 syllables in his name. It was like onomatopoeia,
Right. Right. And Keisha over here. And again, as I said earlier, Keisha doesn't want you involved. She wants the foreigners.
I don't know, like
there's proof of that.
Where does Frazier hail from though? Because she could easily be a first, second generation too.
Who knows? Who knows?
I mean, I don't know, man. Come on, Frazier. Like,
yeah, I mean,
foreigner. Do you?
If say I don't know this to be the case, right? But for example, if it's French, if it's French or whatever, don't a bunch of countries on the continent speak French?
A handful. Nigeria is not a former French colony. Nigeria, I think, was British, but so he's a Nigerian, and they live in Minnesota. So that's what we know so far.
Well, it says Nigerian couple, but something Frazier just doesn't.
Yeah, she ain't no Nigerian. She probably came from Philadelphia. She ain't no Nigerian.
She came from Philadelphia.
Born and raised, huh?
Yep.
Chilling out, maxing, relaxing, all cool. You know that shit. But hold up. What is this other thing we just found? Oh man. I love the internet. We're gonna play us out with this one here.
Scratch the left cheek, scratch the right cheek. You are African booty scratcher. You are tether in the head toucher. You are African booty scratcher. You are fraud, you bastard.
Whoa.
Yo, did Tariq Nasheed put this out?
Yeah, I think that's his thing, man. The Tether Radio 1. I think
It sounds
his.
like a Tariq Nasheed thing because he made a couple of videos like this, but Minister Jap replayed this. Let me see what he's saying. Yeah, I don't know. He didn't say who it came from, but this sounds like a Tariq Nasheed banger right here.
You African booty scratcher. You a wild man and attacker. You a African booty scratcher. You went to HBCU for your bachelor's. You ain't smart, you just the African booty scratcher.
What is this? It is stupid, bro. What the?
Yo, he be,
y'all.
Man, he be going too hard, man.
He's not going hard enough.
New ringtone or nah, y'all? Tell me, new ringtone or nah?
Nah.
African booty scratcher. What tribe are you from? African booty scratcher.
Honestly, on the whole, man, this thing is just too childish, bro. But
It is a little bit.
I do want to actually meet an FBA in real life. One of these hardcore fools from the internet. Just want to meet him in real life just once, man. It'll be fucking amazing.
Yeah, you're gone too far, Biggs. You're gone too far.
African booty scratcher. African booty scratcher.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank y'all for coming out.
It doesn't matter because I'm an African booty scratcher.
Shout out to the Africans. Scratch your booty if you need to. If it itches, it itches, goddammit. Don't let these niggas make you feel any type of way. What are you supposed to do when it itches, goddammit? I don't like what they're trying to imply.
Scratch, scratch the left cheek. Scratch, scratch the right cheek. Now scratch them both together.
That's right. That's right. If it itches, goddammit, what are you supposed to do? Anyway, that's enough of that. That's enough of that. We had enough fun. Appreciate y'all coming out today, man. Hit that like button on your way out. Yes, both of them, goddammit. Both of them. You heard the song, bro. You heard the song. Are you going to only scratch one? How's that really going to work for you? How is that really going to work for you? How is that supposed to work? All right, come on. One more time.
African booty scratcher. African booty scratcher. What tribe are you from? It doesn't matter because I'm an African booty scratcher. Scratch, scratch the left cheek. Scratch, scratch the right cheek.
Both
Now
of them.
scratch them both together.
Both together.
Scratch, you know where right together. Left cheek. Scratcher. Scratch, scratch the left cheek. Scratch, scratch the right cheek. Now scratch them both together. Scratch, you know where right. African booty scratcher.
Good night, everybody. Y'all have a great day. I'm gonna get up out of here, man. Appreciate y'all hitting the panel, man. Thank you so much for following the show. Like, share, and subscribe, y'all. We will be back with another one, maybe tomorrow. I'll catch you guys later.
Aspiring to be patriarchs like what white men have, that isn't freedom. That isn't gonna help anybody. It's certainly not going to help black people.
It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done.